We will now hear the case of Lily Winston, all rise for the judge Jane Beck.
Good morning, everybody. You may sit down. We will now hear the case of Lily Winston. Will the plaintiff lawyer, Matthew Smith, please make his opening statement to the jury?
Well, today we are here to restore the true story of Ossia or Lily Winston, which was ruined by the Winston family and the Australian government. This young lady is shocked by the situation, but also what happened afterwards. She has suffered from many violence and injuries which have caused psychological troubles during her lifetime. She faced malnutrition, physical and mental violence from her family. Moreover, she was constrained to work multiple hours like a slave. That is why my client and I are here today to ask the court for monetary compensation for all the violence suffered, beating. This monetary compensation will have to last throughout his rehabilitation treatment. Indeed, during her visit to the doctor, we observed a pathology emerging from psychological disorders.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Will the defense lawyer, Jack Alexander, please make his opening statement to the jury?
Good morning, Your Honor. I am Jack Alexander, the government lawyer, and the entity that I represent, which is the Australian government, totally assume that they have nothing to do with the Winston's case. The supposed victim said that she was treated like a slave, but my witness, Greta Davis, who was a housewife, said that she was acting really weird. Lily Winston hit her head in a wall multiple times. Moreover, Greta Davis heard her crying multiple times without any reason, and she also saw her stealing food even though she wasn't malnourished.
Thank you, Mr. Alexander. The plaintiff lawyer may now call his first witness.
Your Honor, I will first call the plaintiff Lily Winston.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. I'm Lily Winston. I live in Japan and I'm 34 years old. From my 4 to my 30 years old, I used to work at the Winston's house in Sydney in Australia. My adoptive parents had a housewife named Greta, but she has never did her job. I did everything. She's an horrible woman. I was 4 years old when Aborigines took me away from my family that I have never seen my two brothers and my sister again. But it's not the worst. The worst is after, when I arrived in the Winston's home. My life changed and became a real hell. Some nights, my father came into my room, if I can call it like this, because I was sleeping on the floor, and he... Excuse me.
So you insinuate that Mrs. Winston was raping you?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. May my honor, I ask some question to the plaintiff?
Yes.
How did the other people in the house react to this?
They treat me like a slave.
What were you doing all this day? Were you going to school?
I couldn't go to school because I was working all the day.
You talk all the time about Mrs. Greta Davis, but tell me about your adoptive mother, Mrs. Winston.
My adoptive mother saw all the facts that I have till now, but she didn't do anything to stop it.
Have you ever tried to escape from the house?
Yes. One day I escaped to this house by the door after 26 years because Greta went shopping and she had forgotten to close the door. After that, I've moved country and restart a new life. Now I'm happy, but this story is engraved in me. Maybe it was my destiny, but these people must pay for their acts.
Thank you, Lily and Mr. Smith. The barrister of the government may now call his first witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. I will now call Greta Davis.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. My name is Greta Davis. I live in Sydney and I am 40 years old. I work as a maid for the Winston family. When Lily arrived in the house 10 years ago, I was the happiest person of the world. I treated her like my child. I never had any child, so I wanted to give her the happiest life ever. I would have done anything for this child.
Your Honor, may I ask some question to my...
Yes.
Can you explain us what Lily was doing weird?
She didn't talk to me. She didn't even say hello. She didn't look at me either. When she arrived in our house, she just directly went upstairs and locked herself in her room. When I tried to enter, she cried and shouted like crazy. I would cook for her, I would do very fine dishes for her, but she ate very little. She was very clumsy and broke everything around the house.
Was she disturbing during the night?
Sometimes she was alone in her room and would talk to herself. She also screamed at night. I didn't understand why she was acting like that. Nonetheless, I tried to talk about it with her. I even bought her present, but she was still the same. I never caught by her trust. Sometimes she would look straight in the mirror and tears would be falling down her face. As time went by, she acted more and more strangely. She began to scare me. At some point, she cut her hair and dumped it all around the house right after I finished cleaning.
Thank you, Your Honor. That's all. Defense rest.
My Honor. Sorry. Your Honor, can I may ask some question to the Greta Davis?
Yes, you can proceed.
Greta Davis, did you ever eat Lily Winston?
I just hit her one time because she was mean to me, but I was always nice with her. Once, an evening, she tried to escape, but I managed to locate her and bring her home.
Objection, Your Honor.
Accepted.
My witness, Lily Winston, has been beaten a lot of the time during her childhood. We managed to find pictures of her when she was injured after you hit her. Your Honor, may I show the pictures?
Yes.
We can see here a lot of bruises of all around Lily's arm.
Yes.
No, it was when she fell down the stairs.
Yes, she fell down because someone pushed her down, isn't it?
No, it happened because she worked all day long, and sometimes she was so tired that she often fell down in the house.
Thank you. We have heard the lawyers and all of the witnesses. The lawyers will now give the jury their closing arguments.
Your Honor, we have proven to you that Mrs. Winston has many after-effects and psychological disorders. Moreover, she has undergone a very different use from the one promised her. She was abused throughout her childhood. We hope that the argument released will allow you to determine the Winston family and the Australian government guilty. That is all, Your Honor. The defense rests.
Thank you. Mr. Alexander, you may now tell us your closing arguments.
To sum up, we've said that Lily Winston, who was mentally ill, was mentally ill. She had been seen by my witness hitting her head in a wall multiple times and crying loudly without any reasons. The supposed victim side said that my witness, Greta Davis, wasn't acting the way she had to, but we don't have any real evidences to prove it. The supposed Lily bruises can come from other reasons than violence. Moreover, there's no DNA test to prove what the supposed victim said. Most declaration of the presumed victim side only rely on sayings, and this can't stay in court. That is all, Your Honor. The defense rests.
Thank you. Ladies, gentlemen of the jury, we have heard all the evidences, and now it is time for me to decide whether Greta or Lily's request should be accepted. First of all, I would like to say that I do understand that both of you have done your best to live together in the same house in spite of your differences, but some evidences have been totally left behind despite their significance by Greta during her lifetime as a housewife and educator for Lily. What I truly mean is that Lily was mentally ill of the mistreatments she faced, and Greta and her host parents did not notice anything. They never called a doctor to help or carry her. This was their responsibility. They choose to take care of Lily when they decide to take her away from her family. So, I do believe that Lily Winston and her lawyers has told the entire truth to the jury during the audience. I am really sorry for all what you endured during your childhood, and I now promise that I will do my best to help you with the help of doctors, Lily. And the court sentenced the guilt of Greta Winston to 6 months of hard labor in prison. Moreover, Lily Winston will receive a compensation of $2,000 in help. Thank you everybody for your time and attention. The audience is closed.